Wadsworth. How's everybody doing?
Wonderful. Good to see you as always, Janie.
Oh, we have so much fun doing this. I'm Janie Parrish. I'm the director at the Wadsworth Area Chamber of Commerce, along with my stunningly gorgeous, debonair co-host, Michael Reynolds. Girls, this is what we do. We pump him up for the weekend. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Janie. And if we ever do get a studio audience, it would probably interfere with your lauding me with compliments, so we might have to stay away from that.
Yeah, we will never get a studio audience unless we get to Oprah's level.
Yes.
Yep, and then we're on it. Okay, so we are here with two wonderful ladies, and they're from Home Instead Senior Care, and we're here with Roberta Woodard. How'd I do on that?
Perfect, thank
Good,
you.
I thought I was perfect on that, because I've introduced people as a Dalai Lama before. I'm teasing, yeah. And Meredith Myers,
Yes.
and both of you are from Home Instead Senior Care. So tell us what you do what are your titles there?
I'm a home health
Care.
I'm a home care consultant
Okay.
and the manager for HR.
Very nice.
And I am the general manager, so I manage the whole entire office and keep things running smoothly.
And where are you located?
Our main office is on Gent Road in Akron. However, we have a satellite office in Wadsworth on the One Park Center, just next to Bob Evans. So.
Very nice, so you can get a little breakfast before you go to work.
Always.
Yeah.
That's important.
Always a good thing.
Yeah. Okay, well, I know what you do because I have used the senior care for my dad. And years ago. And so it was an emergency situation where my mom was in the hospital. I had to go to work, and so I understand what you do, but I'm sure that there's more than taking care of my dad for a day. So tell us how this works.
We actually go into the home of a senior and do anything we can to keep them safe and independent. And home is wherever a senior calls home. We work in independent homes, we work in independent livings, assisted living, skilled nursing facilities. We even go to the hospital with clients if they're in the hospital and say they have advanced dementia, they don't remember where they're at. We'll send a caregiver along just to make sure that they can remember and stay calm and safe in the hospital environment. So,
one thing I always that I learned from working with my parents, who are both now deceased, is that when you are a senior, you need an advocate.
Yes.
Yep. And if you don't have that in your family or friends, this is perfect because you absolutely need that. Yeah.
A lot of people, when they get thrown into having to care for their older loved one, don't really know where to turn to, so that's where we kind of come in and advocate for them and give them the resources that they need to find. Because I, again, with my own father, found that I was in a whole new world that I thought I knew what I knew, but I had no idea. It's a whole new world.
It's different when you're the daughter.
Yeah.
I remember that completely when I was at hospice, and I knew that program inside and out. And then when it was the nurse explaining to my family what was going on, I'm like, really, you guys do that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's a learning
it was
process.
like a whole new world. Oh my God. So tell me from the beginning how you get referrals, everything. Like you go to, say you take your family member to a doctor's office and they say you need a little bit more care than what they can have at their home. So what would you do?
Typically, our referrals do come from doctor's offices, the hospitals, skilled nursing rehabs when people are coming out of rehab, home care agencies, people that do skilled care. They call our office, they see a need. We refer likewise back, hospice refers. They see a need or we see a need and a decline, and we call each other, and we have community partners we work with. Many are the same as the other reason we're here today. We find we work very well with certain agencies that have the same type of advocating background. We tell people hospices, home health agencies, home care agencies, skilled rehabs, we all do the same thing, but we have a different personality, so you should find the one that fits your family's needs.
So say, for example, you get a call from a doctor's office who's saying this person could really benefit from your services. So then do you go out to the home? Do they come to you?
Both. We go out. I walked into the office one day this week. saying something probably less than friendly as I walked in the door because I stubbed my toe. And there was a prospective client's family sitting in the conference room having a care consult. That's a true story.
Yeah.
And then we go out to the home. So 9 times out of 10, I'd say we go to the home simply because it's nice for us to get a lay of the land. Is it safe? Are there modifications we see that need to be changed to make sure everybody stays safe? So
Again, it's a new world that people don't necessarily know all
Right.
of the things that they can do to help their loved one, just as much as a grab bar in the bathroom.
or get rid of the throw rug.
Yeah.
Let's say someone doesn't have a referral from, what's the process for someone to reach out to you or get a hold of you, and where do you go from there?
They can always call our number. We are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We always have someone answering the phone live, and they can also go to our website and reach out that way. We'll have someone contact them. So,
And what is that website and what is that phone number?
homeinstead.com/181. So, and the phone number is 330-334-4664.
Right.
Very nice. Okay, so tell us, once you get in, you evaluate, what would benefit the patient the most, and then do you offer, is it like an a la carte menu, or is it like, we're going to help you and here's what we can do, what we see? Yeah.
Well, every situation's different and every home is different, so that's why our client care managers go out and kind of assess the needs of the person. And we do have a 9-hour-a-week minimum, but we do base that kind of around the seniors' needs because, again, not everyone fits in a box. That's not life. So we do go out and tailor it, and our minimum is 9, but we go all the way up to 24 hours a day. So our goal is to keep them safe and independent as possible in their own homes or where they call home. So
you provide ongoing services,
Oh, yes.
but in the instance, let's say it's just a couple days, someone needs some help because there's no one there for that.
yes, we've done it where kids are just gonna go on vacation and they want someone to check on mom. You can give them peace of mind, which is always something you want to have when going out of town. You want to take that vacation and rest, and yes, we do that as well.
So does home care include dispensing medication? Is that something that
If
you
they're
would do?
pre-dosed in pill containers, we can put them in a cup and hand them to them. So
Okay.
So
Now, what about items such as meals, grocery shopping, doctor's appointments?
yes, we do all of those things. We of course do grocery shopping, light housekeeping, laundry, change the sheets, those types of things. Particularly the doctor is the one that I like the most. We actually have a form we send our caregivers with. We remind them, don't sit in the waiting room. If you're welcome to join the client, go in, because that extra set of ears is often very helpful.
Yes,
Seniors don't hear as quickly as they used to, so it's always a nice thing. So when the doctor says, we're going to take you off of this blood pressure medicine and put you on this one, the senior misses, we're going to take you off of. They're taking 2 blood pressure medicines. The next thing you know, they're in the ER with a heart rate of 30. So it's always helpful. So we do. The doctor is particularly a big one for us. Families seem to love that idea that, oh my gosh, you'll go in and take notes and report back. Absolutely.
Very nice.
So.
Yeah, it's sometimes daunting for anybody to go to the doctor and try to remember everything that was said and what you need to do and
Exactly.
in the order that you need to do that. Yeah. So how many patients at a time do your clients, do you call them clients or patients?
Clients.
Clients, okay. I want to make sure
Yes.
I have the lingo down. Okay. And how many per day do you normally have?
I would say 100, depending on the day. But yes, we have over 100 clients.
That is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, when someone you were talking about goes into the hospital, you send somebody in there to sit with them and listen and...
If the client wants us to, yes. When they go to the ER, when the squad comes, we absolutely go.
Okay.
It's upsetting and frightening for a client, so triage is a nightmare when they're upset. My daughter used to love to tell my mother 70% of 70-year-olds had some cognitive decline. So at 70, if they're in a squad, just normal aging makes it very hard for them to remember when they're born or when did they eat last. Or so the caregivers at least being there through the triage is helpful. And then it's up to each client, particularly if it's a client we've been with for a very long time and we have a caregiver on site that is like family. They're there. Or if they have any amount of again, cognitive decline is really when we see the clients' families wanting the caregivers on site, because again, a hospital is loud and it makes funny noises and things move quickly, and that's all very distracting and upsetting for somebody with Alzheimer's disease or another dementia.
So how many caregivers do you guys have or employ?
Again, over 100 and I think 110. So
For the caregivers,
Yes.
too?
Wow,
Wow.
that's a large
Oh my
organization.
I'm calling today.
Well, we're always looking for good part-time help, you know.
Yeah.
we are.
I want to be a
compassionate.
patient or a client.
Right?
That's
That's what
like
I
a
say.
one-on-one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
It is.
And that's what we strive for, is one-on-one, to build that relationship. Nobody wants a stranger coming into their home and saying,
Sure.
you know, where's this, where's that? Because they don't necessarily remember where it's at. So building that relationship and knowing their quirks is always a good thing.
Well, having that many too, I would think, allows you to sort of match personalities somewhat,
Yes.
because that always could be,
Yes.
very helpful. I would
Right.
think for some.
Right.
some
We ask all sorts of
clients.
questions when we do the care consults. Tammy will go in or Katie will go in and they ask things like, what did Dad do for a living, or what was Mom's favorite hobby, so that we know our employees very well, and that gives us the ability to match the caregiver with the client so they have something in common. So even on the first day when the stranger is knocking at the door, she or he doesn't always feel like a stranger for very long. It's just a nice little aside for families to know
Yeah.
they're gonna be pals. It's not just a need. It's really as much for engagement and well-being as it is for safety.
And friendship.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And, yeah.
It's always hard for a senior to ask for help. And I mean, I don't know about you, but that's really hard for me to do at this age. So give
Yeah, I have
me
no
a couple
problem.
of years. And, so it's
I'm not
hard.
proud.
So it's easier when you're asking a friend.
Jamie
or,
has it down to an art form.
I've written lectures about it.
But that's kind of that's where the relationship comes in. It's easier to ask for help when you know the person and you know that they're not going to throw it in your face, kind of thing. So
And I would think that's a visit that you look forward to,
Sure.
too.
Yeah, I agree. I think what you said earlier, I would think that they do become part of family.
Absolutely.
To a lot of these
Yeah.
clients.
Yeah. Years ago, in the beginning, I think we tried to manage that process a little more than we do now. Now we just kind of understand it's organic. We've both been in the situation where we've had caregivers in our parents' homes, and we've witnessed how important that relationship is. So I think we've kind of
and how
laughed,
thankful we
right,
are
how-
for it.
Right, that there's someone there that Dad
Oh.
will listen to, particularly both of our fathers, that Dad would listen to, because we're just their daughters. What do we know?
Right. Nothing. Yeah.
If it's any consolation, I don't listen to my son either.
Oh, there you go.
He means it. Aw. But I remember when I was at hospice, they worked so hard to keep the same team
Right.
together.
Right.
And there were times that there were conflicts. It just didn't gel.
Yeah.
And sometimes families were afraid to ask for a different caregiver, but that should never be.
No, in fact, I took an inquiry this week that the daughter was asking that very question. I said, look, it's important. Dad's going to be the client, but Mom's on site. If Mom's not comfortable, she just needs to say, we're not going to fire the person. We're not going to reprimand the person. It's as much chemistry as anything. And if
Sure.
it's not a good fit, your mom and dad should never be uncomfortable in their own home. Ever. If there is someone on site making them uncomfortable, we'll make the change. We don't ask questions. We don't try to fix it. We just switch them out. So
And boy, that's wonderful because it's just like you meet people in life on a regular basis that you really enjoy, or you just can't seem to find anything in common, and that's more.
And yet she still hangs out
I
with you.
was just gonna
You can't figure it out.
We're soulmates.
we have
We are.
margaritas in common. Yeah, so it works. Our friendship works. Yeah. How long has Home Instead been around?
Our franchises in the Summit and Medina County, we've been in business since 1997. So
Okay.
Home Instead as a whole, which we are international, started in 1994. So
we just celebrated 25 years in July.
Very nice. Now tell me how you're paid.
we are private pay.
Okay.
Some long-term care policies cover
Well,
our
it's
services.
important to know how you.
Yeah.
how
Sure.
it-
Yeah, right.
Well,
people pay
the
for you.
healthcare landscape is changing, which Roberta knows more about that because the baby boomers are aging, and that just means more seniors are coming, so they need to figure out different ways. But at this point, we are strictly private pay. Long-term care insurances do cover us. It just depends on how the policy is written. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not surprising that, like you said, that there's with the baby boomers, because you see that with the assisted living facilities,
Right.
how many are being built. And
Right.
so it's great to see the in-home
Right.
portion as well growing.
Medicare Advantage is covering this year and more so next year some private duty home care. The carriers are very slow coming on. I just went to a seminar yesterday, and it's amazing to me. Then I went to a local hospital yesterday who said, please, we got to figure this out, help us, because they said 50% of their seniors are Medicare Advantage, and they're going home without care, and they need it, and the hospitals are getting in trouble. So because there's a readmission thing attached to most senior conditions. So
And it's probably
we're working
more
on it.
economical to be cared for in the home
Absolutely.
than being in a facility.
Absolutely.
Again, it's one-on-one, so.
And it's one-on-one, and we can help with their physical therapy. If they give us a list of exercises, our caregivers can be the world's best cheerleaders. They can encourage them, help them, all while keeping them safe.
We do
So
need
it's
one
nice.
of those.
I think that would be just great. Yeah, I'm excited now. Well, I'm hoping that will come to
Yeah,
fruition.
so are we.
Yeah, because boy, and you know what, you heal better at home because it's where your happy place is.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I always appreciate any efforts that keep somebody in their home, because I know that's where I would want to be. Of course, I want a clean home.
Right.
We can do that
We
too.
can do that too.
Do you make
Amazing what we
margaritas?
do.
With the bar would be good. But yeah, I think that would just be so comforting, not
Right.
only to the client, but then also to the family.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would say their general health, like you said, would be better. We all know that if I go to the doctor, my
Right.
blood pressure is higher at the doctor, and I have a great relationship with my doctor.
Right.
But then it is at home. So
Right.
I'm assuming across the board that's true for most people's health.
I walk in the door and it goes up.
Yeah. In 1974, my grandfather was diagnosed with a terminal disease, and he never left the hospital for 4 months.
Oh, wow.
And he never got to come home. I mean, this was like pre-hospice
Right.
days,
Right.
and pre-home care days.
Right.
And I always think now that I'm older and looking back, how sad that was that he never got to come home, because he loved his home.
Sure. And how many people have that, our generation or older, and I know my father was that way, he did not want to be in a hospital at all, because that is the memory he had of his parents or anyone else.
Yeah.
Once they went into the hospital, in a lot of those cases, they were there till the end.
Right.
And never did get to come home. So I'm sure that's still true for anyone that gets older. That
Yeah.
anxiety that builds up, and then
Right.
it just complicates things and adds more health issues.
Right.
Yep.
But in
Absolutely.
1974, that was the norm.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
about when you were right after you were born, I'm assuming, right? I mean, a couple of years before kindergarten.
I was actually graduating from high school at that time. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, you have a great program coming up.
We
okay,
do.
so this is one of the big reasons we wanted to talk to you too, because I've heard about this program. I've had friends who have volunteered. So if you can tell us about what's coming up, we'd appreciate it.
Go ahead.
Every Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day in Medina County, Meals on Wheels closes. It's a county program, and they work all the time. They deserve a break. About 20 years ago, and I'm always fuzzy on the math because that was pre-me at home instead, Pam Myers, our franchise owner, found out that happens and had a rough patch, had some very significant personal family loss, excuse me, and thought, well, I don't really want to be alone on the holidays, and I don't want to be sad, and this is a chance to give back. And in her kitchen, she put together
25 meals for Thanksgiving.
and
Wow.
And
and
we
it started.
volunteered, and we got little volunteers, and we made homemade mashed potatoes, and that was fun. And then by Christmas Eve, we did 75, and last year we did 400 for Thanksgiving and over 600 for Christmas.
Eve.
Isn't that amazing?
incredible.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not a part of our job. This is something that Pam started, and she tends to hire people who like to help.
Sure.
And it's turned into a huge party. We go to St. Francis Xavier Church on Thanksgiving morning.
That's in
And
Medina.
on Christmas Eve, yes, and on
They're
Christmas Eve
gracious
morning.
and let us use their kitchen space
Kitchen
and have
space.
for probably 16 years at
Right.
least. So we're thankful for that as well.
Janie could donate hers. She doesn't use it very often.
My husband says that oven's going to last forever.
So we go with many, many, many community partners, and we provide entire holiday meals. Thanksgiving, they get the traditional turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, gravy, green beans, applesauce, cranberry sauce, rose butter, and pumpkin pie. And then on Christmas Eve, they have a choice of all of those things, but they get ham or turkey, or one
Okay.
of each if they really want one of each. So it's become a big party for us, and it's something we look forward to every year.
Well, that takes an immense amount, I'm sure, of manpower just to put everything
Yes.
together. But what about the funding of the food and items? How does that?
Home Instead graciously provides the turkeys and the hams. That is our thing, and I think we will probably always do it.
And then we have community partners that she started collecting green beans this
Yeah,
week.
I already have 3 cases of number 10 canned green beans in
and
our
this
office.
is really just our community giving
Right.
back to our community. We do give a little flyer saying who has donated food, but there's no marketing materials that go into this or anything like that. It is really truly just the area giving back to our seniors, which is always a blessing. And Brunswick Rotary, at Christmas time, they donate stockings, but we get bags. But we kind of fill them with things we all take for granted: new socks, toothbrushes, soap. All of those kinds of things that are just we take for granted at this moment, but we all know seniors who need those little things, and everybody likes a present at Christmas. So.
And the food is truly donated from anybody from hospice to a couple of times. I'll be at a networking event or whatever, and somebody will say, "So how are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm 100 rolls short," or whatever. And just everyday people. My Bible study one year did all of our rolls for us. So it's just amazing how giving people are, and they just want that.
And you transport the food out to all of these clients?
We also have over 40 volunteers that we make the routes. So they would call our office, and we add them to a list, and we create the routes depending on how many volunteers we have, and we map all that fun stuff. And then we have volunteers show up, and some we've watched grow up, which is we've been doing it for so long. We had little 5-year-olds, and now they're 20 with their own routes. It's kind of, that makes you realize you're getting old too, but but they come in, and it's a good community. Like Roberta said, it is kind of just a party with old friends. You get together and just package stuff, and
I would say we probably have about 100 volunteers. By the time it's all said
I
and
know
done,
40
between-
drivers.
Right, between the drivers, it's funny, we all have our own little things. I manage the kitchen, Tammy, our client care manager, manages the assembly process.
Okay.
And
I do the
then
routes.
Meredith does all the routing and telling people where to go. So it's really kind of, I would say we have to have 100 people in that place every Thanksgiving morning. And they're there bright and early and happy. We promise the church will be out by noon, and we are out by noon because we all have our own holidays to go home and prepare. So we don't take their time for granted. We're so grateful that they show up every year. So.
Yes.
Well, that's just incredible, the amount of organization that would take.
Yes.
I'm thinking I should contact them about helping with some circulation issues at the paper.
It's fun. It's fun. And again, it's not our job. I mean, this is just something we do on the side.
How do you identify the people who receive the meals?
I create a flyer. It's already created, and we send it everywhere. It goes to Meals on Wheels. I hang it on every bulletin board. I send it to
We post on Facebook.
Facebook. We're on Facebook a lot this time of year. Facebook Live is kind of our thing at this time of year. We distribute it to doctors' offices, to hospices, to anybody that might work with a senior or a disabled person. We take them to the high-rise buildings or the Medina Metropolitan Housing Authority buildings for seniors. Anywhere that a senior might be and might find out that they need a meal. We've had people call the night before Thanksgiving and say, I just got out of the hospital and I didn't get to, and we accommodate. We had one call on Christmas Eve
Christmas Eve after we had everything packed up, and of course I take the leftovers. So I brought my 16-year-old with me, and I'm like, we're going to go do this. Come on. Like, we officially hit this number now. I text her.
Yeah, I was making dinner and I cried.
Yeah.
So
We
they-
actually outgrew the kitchen last year, so one of the local facilities helped us out. And again, as they're preparing Christmas Eve meals, they gave us warming drawer because we have to keep the food to a certain temperature. That's all very, yeah. So we were in a bit of a panic in a local facility just down the street from, it was actually the Avenue of Medina, I guess I should say.
Sure.
They were so gracious, they gave us kitchen space, which was
Amazing.
That
Yeah.
is amazing. Absolutely.
Now, I'm hoping that you'll send me this information so I can put it in our chamber newsletter.
Absolutely.
So maybe we can find some donors, some people who need those meals, and also maybe some volunteers.
absolutely, I'll be
Yeah.
happy
We
to.
can bring it up at the chamber meeting and
And we
talk
sure
about it there as
will.
well.
Always.
Yeah.
We always
So-
look for volunteers.
Yep.
Many hands make light work. So.
That would be good. Well, amazingly, we're almost out of time. Didn't that go fast?
It did.
Yeah, and me without coffee. It even went. So, Roberta and also Meredith, thank you for all that you do, not only every day for our population that needs some home care, but also I can't even imagine what all goes into providing
much
those
fun.
meals. And I love that you say it's so much fun, because it could
Yes.
be like, oh boy.
It could be
that-
overwhelming. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, thank you for the positive impact you're making on the community.
Absolutely.
And make sure you mention the phone number and the website one more time.
It's 330-334-4664, and our website is www.homeinstead.com and /181.
Okay, well, thank you ever so much. Michael's going to sign us out because he does that every week. Okay.
Thank you again, and have a great week, Wadsworth.